me because the sound was absolutely fine. There was absolutely no problem whatsoever. So it was a problem at his end, not on my end. So wrongly, I just stopped the stream and started all over again. Okay, then that's not a problem, but actually that wasn't the case. So the sound was absolutely fine. So probably his device didn't work properly or something. Anyway, here we are now. And if there's anything else, just type in a message, guys, and I'll try to follow up. Try to follow up. So now back to the games. Back to the games now. Let me have a look here. So we should be live on like 4 platforms. Yeah, we've returned now. So where were we? We had a couple of ideas which I had to very abruptly stopping them. Hi there, Chill Penguin. How's it going, man? So 5 minutes, like almost 6 minutes for Alireza and like 40 minutes for Dingley Ren. But the problem is they're in serious trouble here from a material point of view and positional attacks and everything. But Alireza has to take some quick decisions here. So what do you play? Do you play some checks? Is there anything else you would like to try? If you do checks, and if the king comes closer, you probably need to play something like this. So he attacks the actual knight. Probably he'd be very happy to trading off pieces. I mean, something like this would be responded with. Maybe you want to do this one first, if knight goes away. Can you do dash Witzenzug type of move? Or you taking first? So what do you think, guys? What do you think? All right, so now exactly. Do you play in-between move, or are you going to take the knight immediately on g4? She took on g4. No, I was perfect before too, because I checked the recordings. The sound was absolutely fine. So there was no problem. Maybe it was a problem with your device or something, because the sound is fine on all platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. It was no problem with the sound, man. Yeah, I should have checked the platform before restarting the whole thing. So yeah. We might have a check here. I guess that's working. And then they have to play here, and then you got to take care of your bishop. Probably for the bishop d3, it's the best one because you're moving out. And you're defending c2 and you're attacking g6. Yeah, you kind of misinformed me, Mr. Ram. The information was not objectively correct. The sound was perfect. All right. Rook runs away, but okay, so probably they want to do some check on the second rank or something. So that means they will be looking at this guy here as well. So what are you going to play? Are you going to move the king? King to e3. You might play. Yeah. King to e3 or something. King to e3. Oh, that's fine. It's just my fault. I should be more reluctant to believe whatever people type in. I mean, just some folks. Yeah, I should be checking first, actually, rather than trusting. Yeah, that's fine. Right. So what it seems to be that Rook wants to come on the second rank, check the king, and kind of like tiding the rook over to defending this guy. Now he goes for the other pawn. If there is a check, you have to move. Then rook's going to take here, but you're going to take here, with also taking on g6 afterwards. That's nice. Yeah, of course there was sounds. The other guy either messed around or he tried to just mess around a bit. Probably that's also something that they enjoy doing. Yeah, of course there was sound. Yeah. Okay, so now we're looking at rook a3 and then sorry, rook a6, and then we're looking at rook g6. And yeah, okay, so we are going to take this guy, and probably we're going to take the other guy too. And frankly, I think Dean Loren should be just resigning at any moment now. I don't think there is any other resources for Black to employ here. Rook g6, rook g4. How do you stop that? You can't stop it. Sorry, is there something else than rook g6? I don't think you got a problem with defending a4 because any attempt is just very, very easy stoppable, right? I mean, just you don't even have to bother. What was that? Rook a5? Okay, he's gonna go back, rook a6 and then take. That's move number 42. So I guess he already got the 40 minutes extra, right? Yeah, you know, I got a similar feeling. I got a similar feeling here, Matt. I think it's problematic a little bit for Ding. Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think he finds it very difficult now to keep up with the games. And that's not disrespectful. It's just what you factually interpret yourself on the current state of affairs. So, yeah, I think you may say that. It's a bit difficult for Ding. It is. It is. It's gonna be tough. Anyway, he is world chess champion. He got the title. You know, that's awesome. Yeah, but it's gonna be very difficult for him. By the way, in this current position here, I think Black should be resigning or something. Yeah, I think he just resigned, guys. Let's have a look at another one. What's going on? That's Gukesh, 18 minutes. Wenjun, massive, massive, strong player, 18 minutes. King f1, last move being played here by Wenjun. King f1, what does you want to do? I mean, if there's a check here, you're going to move back, right? Does she want to stop any rook on the back rank or something? King e1. Does she want to play King e1? If there is any f4, how do you react to this? Do you do rook e4? Probably you kind of have to, right? So that's interesting ending here. Let me see if that's the yeah King f1 was the last move that White played here. Gukesh, what is he gonna play here? Yeah, you gotta push this guy down. Yeah. Do you keep your rook on the third rank or you go on the fourth rank? So that's the question now for White here. If you're gonna play rook e4 or you're gonna play somewhere on the third rank, but where exactly? You're gonna go c3 something, or you're gonna move? I think you gotta maintain yourself on the third rank because after rook here, you might having some problem with those pawns. So I guess you gotta play something like rook c3. Rook c3. Rook c3. Is there a problem with rook c3? I mean, at least you're stopping black rook coming on d3. Rook c3. What else can you do? You gotta save the rook, right? Can you do rook e4, rook d3, and then the heck do you go? You going to push this guy? That's a disaster. I don't think you can do that. Then rook b3, and how are you going to defend this? I don't think you can. So probably rook c3. This is very difficult. You got to be very, very super accurate here. Rook c3. No, wait a second. She didn't play that. I moved it. Wait a minute. Let me just go and refresh the page a little bit. Let me refresh the page. Gukesh, Wenjun. She didn't move yet. She didn't move yet. C3. Okay, let's have a look, guys. Nepo and Anish up the Storov. Nepo and Anish, 38 minutes. Why? Wow, wow, wow. 38 minutes. 3 minutes 51 up the Storov. Those double pawns are a nightmare. Okay, you have to move the rook. Where do you get the rook? Can't go on the 5th, can't go on the 4th, can't go on the 3rd. You gotta be 2nd or 1st. I think this is a must. You have to play the rook on the 2nd or the 1st rank. I guess you want to go on the 1st rank because you may want to go via A1, A7. I mean, what else do you want to do? So you got to go back rank now, right? And again, I can't but admire the excellent time management of Jan Nepomniachtchi. He's on like 37 minutes. That's a lot compared with 3 minutes of Abdustorov. Wow. So rook d1, rook d1 for rook a1, rook a7. That might be. 1, 2, 3. Well, I'm not sure Nordebek's gonna allow rook a1, but just saying. Rook d1, rook a1, rook a7. Is there anything else you can go to? Can you go someplace else? I don't think so you can. No, you cannot. I think back rank is the most promising thing you could do with the white rook. Now, the problem is after you play rook d1, black might just very well do rook a8. Yeah, but then you're going to play knight b6. Oh, and then that will be threatening some rook d7. So let me just draw a couple of arrows here. If you do... Hey, he just played it, right? Yeah, he just played it. Yes, he did. Okay, I'm happy I've seen the rook d1 idea. I guess Abdustorov wants to just jump here. Okay, what do you do now? Can you just go rook a1? And if black plays knight to d5, can you do like taking the pawn? I don't think it's that bad, right? Now, rook a1 is a massive move. Rook a1 actually threatens this. You can't... I mean, this is really good. So, guys, just feel free to tell me if you guess I'm wrong or something, but rook a1 seems to be very, very right. It seems to be absolutely fine, rook a1. Rook a1, rook a7. I don't know what else. I mean, you could try knight b6. I don't think that's bad either. You could try knight b6. You think, guys, maybe knight b6 might be better? I guess it's something to do with the move order. Knight b6 actually attacks the rook, stops them to go on a8, and at the same time stops the black knight to play on d5, because simply you're just going to take the knight and win a pawn. So practically you're just winning. But if knight b6 and rook plays b8, what do you do then? So maybe rook a1 after all? You guys feel free to tell me if you guess I'm missing some tactics. Are you guys seeing? Please do tell me. Hey, what's this? Okay, I didn't expect that. I absolutely didn't expect that. I totally didn't expect that. Rook d6? Jesus. Rook d6? Oh, okay, I mean, I get it. Okay, you got the d file. Matt, this is the biggest question of this evening. Rook d6. I haven't got a clue what the heck is rook d6 doing there. I mean, what I could see is that you do have the d file. Okay. Is it? Jesus Christ. I guess it just maintains the status quo and kind of like black is in sort of like Zugzwang. Well, not Zugzwang, but just saying. I mean, the rook can't go anywhere because you're going to grab the c6. So it kind of paralyzes the black rook on c8. It makes the rook on c8 staying where they are. Unless they want to play rook c7. Okay, if that's the engine top move, then the guy is a machine. Okay. Okay, this is very peculiar, very little, very kind of unexpected. I mean, I would have played rook a1 because I'm an average player, mortal. I would have played rook a. What is this one? Okay, I'm gonna answer that message later. I can't check the register now. What is he saying? Why is okay, let me see. What is this? Monica. I should be dealing with this later. I haven't got a clue. Because it's three. That has nothing to do. That guy. Those guys were absent or something. Okay, I have to double check later on. Probably they were absent, those kids. I don't know. Okay, so rook d6 keeps the black rook where they are on the c file. But you can't move the knight, right? Because you're going to drop the rook. So you got to keep the knight on c4 where it is in order to support your rook. On the other hand, okay, let's look. What is black going to do? Okay, Matt, why is this the engine stop move in human language? What do you think? Why is this engine stop move? Let's use subject and predicates and I mean, let's just use just normal language. Why is this the engine stop move? You can't use the knight. You can't move the knight. You had the d file already. Okay, rook can't really move more than c7. What's going on? Why is this the engine stop move? Let me see if those guys were actually absent. What was the last time? 17th of January. 17th of January. Those guys, I think, were absent. Were they? Yes. And the other guy was absent too. Where is it? Was that guy absent? Toby. She was present, but she was absent. Okay, I gotta investigate that one properly. From going F8 to discover checks. Okay, yeah, a little bit unexpected move. I gotta tell you this. Okay, now you have to play the rook, and guess what? You're gonna go back on the back rank. So what exactly have you achieved? Unless you want to draw, which I guess you don't want to do, right? So Matt, let's just put it to the nitty gritty now, to the very practicality now. Knight attacks you, and you're gonna have to go back where you were. So you can't just mess about rook d6, rook d1, because you're going to draw. And that's painfully to do. You don't draw here, you're winning. So if you want to win, you go back on d1. Oh, he went on d2. Jesus. Why? Okay, this guy goes back on f6. Weren't you supposed to be on the first rank and then translate over to the A file? Okay, I don't know. Okay, I got your point, Matt, with preventing the black rook. Okay, I got your point, but okay, maybe there is something to that. Maybe. Okay. Yeah, okay. Perhaps. Maybe. So probably rook d2 now had been played exactly to making sure that the f2 is being protected after some rook f8 ideas. Whenever that were to happen, though. Whenever that would happen, because I don't know when exactly black is, and in what particular order is black supposed to do that. By the way, this is move number 41. So I guess now Abdustorov gonna get his 40 minutes on the clock anytime soon. Okay, what the heck happened with these guys at the tournament? Because I can't see them on my register. Did they move anything? No, Rook D2 was the last move played by White here. Okay, let me check this guy's names. So she was absent. What about that guy? Okay, let me check my other stuff that I submitted. That was JLA. They were absent, right? Oh. Okay, they didn't move nothing, so I still got a few seconds here. Let me find them on the. What about this guy? Oh man, there was such a large group of students. This guy was present then. Oh, maybe he was. Maybe he was repaired with someone. Hmm. Let's give okay, let's give then this guy a default victory. Okay. So Rook D2 now. Default. Okay. Right. Knight back. No, no, knight is not back. Rook was on the. It's knight d6 now, attacking the rook here. Right. Double attack here. Double attack there. That's some very nice tactical stuff here. Rook looks after this pawn if there is any rook f8. Matt, that might be the case. That indeed might be the case. Yes, that might be the case very well. Yep. Yes, it might be the case indeed. But now, after they took the 40 minutes on their clocks, both of them, it's plenty of time for Yan to actually think this properly if you want to win. I guess knight to d6 is very nice double attack the pawn on e4. So I don't think there's anything wrong with this. How are you going to defend e4 again? Well, you cannot. This one doesn't really work. Doesn't really work. I think we got to list this move. That's check. Then we're going to move this guy here. Then we're going to have another check here. And if you move away, I'm going to take your rook for free. So rook d8 does not really work. Yep. What is UI? So what can black play to defend e4 twice? They can't do nothing. So this guy is going to be captured, the pawn. And if black takes, that's even better for white because you're having better position, more pawns. These guys are doubled. All in all, I think it's very good for white. Looks like Ian is going to win this game. User interface. Well, that's what leeches have. I don't know. So white is going to win here. Let's go to Wenjun and Gukesh, guys. That was another game we wanted to look at. I think that's quite interesting. So rook c3, if you remember, Matt, we were discussing about rook c3. And I've seen it as the only way to making sure that rook actually looks after the pawn, preventing black to attack it with the rook. So now g3 being... So a couple of moves had happened since last time. So we've seen this, and I did say rook c3, but then we moved over to Nepo and Anish's game. So rook c3 here. Check. Well, you don't have a choice now. You gotta play king f2. Knight coming. And there might be another check on d3, and now she played g3. g3 she played now. If there is a check with knight d3, what do you play actually? You're gonna go g2. Of course, that's why she played g3. I guess if this were to happen, you're going to play this, right? This is a difficult little ending here. On the other hand, if this guy disappears, there might be some counter game. Well, at some point, not as long as the black knight is here, because they stop any rook f3 incursion and stuff like this. Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see about that, guys. So I think that's the most annoying stuff black can play. Knight d3 check. And the question is, are you going to play king g2? Or are you going to play f3? That's a genuine question, really genuine question. What do you think, Matt? After knight d3, where are you supposed to get that king? And why? Do you go on f3? Potentially trying to make some counterattack with the king itself? Go like a maniac on g4 and stuff like this? Or you're going to play g2? And if you play g2, we might have this. And then you're going to have to go back anyway. So probably king f3? Knight d3, king f3? I don't think it's particularly straightforward, but we got to consider pretty much everything. But then it might be some rook f1, but I guess you could go e4 or g4. You could go e4. King f3. Knight d3. Is king f3 or king g2? What do you think, guys? If knight d3, how do you respond to this? You play king f3 or you play king g2? Mind you, because if you do king g2, it might be rook d2. And then you're going to have to defend the knight by moving the king back. Back means f3, because the knight here prevents you to do f2. Knight d3, king f3, knight e2, king f2. It might be. It might be. Let me tell you something. If Wenjun manages to get off this... Whoa, what did happen here? Crazy. F3. F3 played by Gukesh, and Wenjun moved almost instantaneously. Almost instantaneously moved rook e3. Boy, she really wants to kind of like win, which is awesome. Wow. If this would happen, you're going to take the knight? You can't, because there's a... Yeah, actually, yeah, you do can, of course. Bang and boom. You can't push it because there's two defenders for the e1. I think it's absolutely fine. And if there is a knight d3, obviously you're going to take on f3 with the king. And heck, I think white is great because the rook looks after this guys and everything is nice and protected by the white rook on e3. I think it's great. Great for Wenjun. I'm not sure. What is that working? You can't really take because of this. Okay, this is interesting. Matt, you tell me if Gukesh plays g4. No, you can't do this. This is nonsense. The knight is hanging. So no, that's completely not applicable. Gukesh has to do something about the knight. But if you do something with the knight, she just takes this guy with check with tempo. This is phenomenal. Phenomenal game by Wenjun. You know what's great? She kind of moved very quickly. She moved very quickly, and that means actually she anticipated that. This is phenomenal game for by Wenjun. And now making the move, I mean placing the king in a pin. You're not seeing this very often, guys. Moving the king in a pin. You don't see this very often. You don't. This is a very, very intriguing and incredibly spectacular ending here. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. What do you do? Do you play the knight? Do you play the knight? What do you play? What do you do? I guess you don't... can you play back rank? Do you go c3 or do you go g1? I don't know, actually. Do you go c3, you attack the rook with tempo, maybe you play knight e4, and then maybe you kind of look for that guy or stuff like this? I'm not sure. She's really good. She's really, really, really good. So now she got like 7 minutes, 50 seconds, and let's see what she manages to get out of this. I don't know. What would you do, guys? Would you do knight c3 or would you play knight g1? Knight g1 to go after f3. If black pushes g4, I guess you could take because knight is pinned. I guess you kind of can. This is actually very important now. This is actually really important. Knight c3 is one portion of the destiny and knight g1 is a different destiny. Gee, what do you do? And whatever you, I mean, you got to decide in a span of 7 minutes. Actually, this is move number 34. They need 6 more moves until they get the 40 minutes. So she needs to play some very good stuff to get that chunk of 40 minutes on her clock. And she's doing very well. If Gukesh loses the f3 pawn, I think she's just better. I think she's just better. So again, guys, let me just ask you the question. Do you do knight g1? Or do you do knight c3? Or do you do something else? Good stuff about knight g1 is that you might be able to grab the f3 pawn, right? Knight g1. I don't think it's that bad, knight g1. Am I missing something? Knight g1. Knight g1. Knight f4. That's another killer move. Fly me. Knight f4. What a killer move. Knight f4. Check. But they don't have to take, do they? Knight f4. They don't have to take knight f4. Well, if they move the king... I mean, isn't it important to take on f3? Huh. So guys, feel free to tell me if your choice would be knight c3, knight g1, or knight f4. Knight f4. Knight f4, king moves. So let's just say king moves. Heck, the king can move on a couple of places. And then you have to move the knight again. But Matt, knight f4 is not forcing, right? I mean, they're not going to take your knight. Knight f4, they're not going to take your knight. They're going to move the king. I don't think Gukesh is going to take your knight. So I understand what you're saying, but do you think actually he's going to take your knight? If you play knight f4. You're not going to take your knight. He's going to move the king. Say, well, wait a minute. f5 or f6. f5 or f6. That's a different game, a different stuff here. Oh boy, knight f4. Definitely knight f4 is a fighting move. Is knight g1 that awful? Or maybe it's too slow, maybe it's just not that strong. Knight g1, knight f4. You do knight f4, king f5, king f6. What's the idea? What do you do then? Knight h5? No, if you do knight f4 and king f5, you're gonna push g5, right? And then they're gonna go f6. And then you might be having knight h5. Yes, I think it's knight f4 is the killer. Oh boy, she played it. She played it, man. She's really good. She's really, really, really good. What an awesome player she is. Knight f4. Actually, if you make the black king moving away from protecting the knight, you're actually going to grab that knight. Phenomenal game by Wenjun. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm in total admiration. So check. You move here, I think it's going to be another check. And if you play f6, it's going to be another check. This is phenomenal. Phenomenal game. So now she got like 3 minutes 48, move number 35, and Gukesh has to decide the heck am I going the king. I'm not sure, in all honesty, guys, I'm not sure Gukesh actually foresaw the knight f4. I mean, probably he was aware that's going to be very complicated. But knight f4 is just something. This is just something. It's the most challenging option here, and it's phenomenal. Knight f4. So whatever the black king has to do, they got to stay in close proximity of the black knight because they just lose the knight. Therefore, they're going to lose the game. So they're going to go something like this. They're going to go either here or there. You can't do anything else but this. So let's just take them one by one. King to f5. G4 check. Then you're going to go f6. Then we're going to go knight h5. Where do you move? That's a genuine question. So that doesn't work. You got to go f6. After f6, you're going to play h5. Check. If they go king g6, you could just take the knight. They take your knight, but then you take the you take the pawn, probably with king or rook. Guys, I think Wenjun is going to win this one. So, I mean, can you take the knight? You take the knight. I'm going to take. You're going to play what? Some checks? That might be the case. Oh man, this is really, 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 really fascinating. Really fascinating. And practically now they just playing blitz. Hi there, Kumar. Good to see you, man. How's it going? Yeah, I'm just really enjoying this end game here. Look at this crazy position. Look at the crazy position, and Wenjun plays so aggressively. And she sees a bunch of phenomenal tactical moves here. This is phenomenal. I really, really enjoy this endgame. Okay, so she's on 3 minutes 48 seconds. Gukesh like 6 minutes 20 seconds. So it's actually very difficult to say, Kuma. What I do see is that kind of he needs to take. Then you take. Then he needs to check ASAP. And then you're going to move, attacking the rook tempo. And then you're going to play here. Heck, I mean, this is really, really, really complicated little piece of ending here. It looks to me, if you go f6, you're going to run into this. And then if you go here, I'm going to take your guy. And then when you take the knight, I'm going to take the pawn. And actually, white is winning. So that makes me thinking Probably pawn takes is the only one. I mean, I might be wrong, but just saying. Oh boy, oh boy. So now g4. Oh my god. g4, right? So actually Gukesh played king f5. Oh boy, is he gonna go back on e6? But then knight g7 check. So now the big question is Wenjun gonna push g4? So that's the genuine question. Is he gonna do g4? Check. So king again has to go back in the pin. And then you're gonna play knight g7. Really? I mean, is there something else here for white to play? Apart from g4 check. I mean, if that's not a forcing move, I don't know what else it's a forcing move. Wow, what an ending. What a phenomenal ending. G5. Right? G5. Matt, what do you think? It's G5, right? Kumar, would you do would you do G4? G4, right? G4 fixes the pawn on G5, protects the knight, checks the king. I think all the good stuff. And step by step, although Gukesh had a few more minutes extra now, he's going to having less time than Wenjun, and this is move number 36. And if I'm not mistaken, guys, this is pretty much the very critical moment in game's evolution. This is the critical moment for white and black. Similarly, this is the moment, actually. This is actually the moment. And Gukesh needs to come up with something very, very, very serious here. But what can you play? Knight h5. Oh man. Nice one. So where does the black king need to go? Well, they need to make sure the knight is safe. Okay, let's go quickly to Jan Nepomniachtchi. This is so fascinating. Okay, that's the position here. Still better for white, right? Still better for white. This guy is under threat. You gotta do something. But Jan is having like a ton of time on his hands. He's got like 1 hour, 14 minutes. That's a lot of time. So you got all the time in the world to think about what to play. How to defend. I guess you don't want to give that guy. And anyway, you got a fork problem. Let me just highlighting for all of our friends. We got a fork issue here, so you can't allow that to happen. You totally cannot allow that to happen. Can you just move king and then moving king to c5? I know, I mean, counterintuitive, right? But if you get the king on c5, I think you're doing a good job here. If you play this, I just feel a little bit uncomfortable. I don't know what to say about knight d6, but maybe king d4, king c5. So the problem now for Ian is to address the fork here. And if possible, you got to keep that guy alive. So how do you defend that pawn? Do you just play rook? Can you just play rook? Well, he's got a thing, but he's got 1 hour 13 minutes, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna get the right decision in the end. He got so much time. Exactly now you could just sit down and think and act accordingly now. Yeah, no, you got to play this one very carefully. So what do you think? Is it Matt? Very honestly, now, would you do King D4 here, or would you do Rook D4? How would you stop the fork? You have to stop the fork, right? I mean, you have to do something about this. Knight C4 is serious, so that's why he actually played Knight B6. So would you play actually King D4 here, or would you play Rook D4? Or would you do something else, some other crazy tactics? I don't know. What would you do? You could do maybe knight d6, then knight, but that's, I don't know. Kind of, I don't know, just feels a bit too unnecessary, and you can't just play with the fire like this. King d4, king c5. Is that a disaster? I mean, you're gonna get checked again? No, you don't. I mean, if you do this and that, that's good. Okay, we'll see about that. King d4. Well, actually, they didn't play that. I played it. Let me go back. What is it? Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought about King d4. Whoa, whoa, whoa. They played a couple of moves. Oh, no, they haven't. Yeah. So King d4 seems to be quite the right idea because you want to get King c6 and attack King b6 and c6 at the same time. So in principle, I guess that might be the right idea. I mean, apart from a check on d8, which is perfectly fine because you got a knight looking after the rook, so it's not a problem. But if the king makes it on c5, you might be just winning the game. Especially if the c6 pawn is going to get captured, then you do have a passer here. Plus, the black knight has to move. After king c5, the black knight has to play. And I don't know where they're going to go. So all in all, king d4 seems to be very much playable. Let's see Wenjun now. Oh, this is such a critical one. This is such a critical one. 36 seconds? Are you kidding me? What did they do previously, man? Check, moves away. Check, moves away. So he tried to... Oh my god, does he want to draw? Did they draw? No, they haven't drawn. Because now it's the 40th move. Oh man, he wants to win. Gukesh really, he wants to win here. I think they just gotten the 40 moves. And okay, that's cool. The rook now protects the knight, so the king can go whatever the heck they want to go. That's for one. Should you do g4 again, just in order to try to create some stuff here? If you... No, she hasn't pushed it, just saying. Let me refresh the page. Let me refresh the page. g4 would check the king, protect the knight, allow knight g3 whenever you consider this necessary. And then if knight g3, you might be doing knight e4. You might be doing knight d6, looking for the b7 pawn. What do you think about this idea, Matt? Is g4 playable? I mean, what else do you want to do? You got a knight on h5. You're going to keep that knight there forever? This is a very delicate moment. I think this is really delicate moment here. This is a really delicate one. There could be a couple of ideas. Heck, it could be even h4. Yeah, exactly. G4. I mean, I feel it, and I think it that actually G4 is probably The strongest reply here. G4 really is good stuff. Yes, and yeah, if you manage to get the white knight here on d6, I think you're incredibly optimistic. Still, the black knight can't move because you're taking on f3 and practically she's going to win the game. So I think she needs to keep the rook where they are, and g4 is really my first choice. Very much my first choice here. g4, definitely something I would go with. So she got like 2 minutes 20 seconds. Probably, I mean, you could give it like those 2 minutes or something, making sure you covered as much as possible. And because you're going to get like 40 minutes on the clock, why the heck not? Just think about it and do the stuff that it's fully verified, so to speak, as much as you can verify it in a span of 2 minutes. Well, she had a few minutes before, but yeah. I like G4. I think I like G4. I agree with you, Matt. G4, I absolutely like it. I absolutely like it. By the way, you're forcing the black king back, as you very well said. You're just really forcing the king back. And he got to play very carefully, because it could be all sorts of crazy checks. And there is another thing, Matt. If I didn't mention, G4, there you go, man. G4 stops this guy from coming down. So it's sort of like fixes a weakness on f3. So the black knight sort of have to stay there. But your knight is so freaking free to play g3 and then whatever. I don't know. It's just a fabulous white knight. I don't know, but it feels like Wenjun really is doing slightly better from an initiative point of view. The engine might say it's equalish, but I feel from a human point of view, knight g3 and then knight to f5 or maybe knight to e4 with the prospect of planting the knight on d6, I think it's just phenomenal. You got so many threats. And knight d6, guys, looks to get on b7. And if you're dropping the rook, obviously you're going to lose the black knight. So from this point of view, knight g3 and knight f5 or knight e4, I think is just amazing. I think it's just amazing for white. Really good stuff for white here. It's just so good for white. I don't know what is black's counter game here. You just tell me what is black's game here. All right, so Vidit drew against Donchenko Alexander. Prague drew with the other guy, Max. Gukesh still disputing, and heck, this is so interesting. And Nepomniachtchi should be winning against Nordibek. That is, the position was totally in white's favor. And if you remember, Matt, we said something like king d4, king c5 in the Nepomniachtchi Abdustorov's game. So I think we may just very well go quickly and check if Nepomniachtchi actually played king d4. Hey, dude, he played it, man. He did play it. Wait a sec. Knight b6. No, he played rook e2 first. Jesus Christ, he moved away from the fork. I don't know. Okay, he attacks the knight. Knight goes after the c2, but is defended. Heck, I mean, you just stick to the plan, right? You're going to go king c5 because you want to take on c6. No, sir, that's not what it does. He goes c4 now, stopping probably any checks coming via the fourth rank or something. But you can still do king c5, though. King c5, king c6. You can still do that. Hey, but there is another idea. You got a massive discovered check coming. So black has to be very careful as of where the heck the moving pieces, because this is a discovered check. This is serious. Nordibek has to tread very carefully at this stage here, because it's an almighty discovered check from the knight. So all in all, the c6 black pawn has to disappear. This pawn must disappear so that you can capitalize on pushing this guy down the board. And you have an ace up your sleeves now with the discovered check from 94 moving whatever the heck they want to move. And there are going to be some problem. White should be winning. White should be winning. Back to Jew and June and stuff. Hey, knight g3, mate. We did say about that one. We did say. I'd said it, I think I said it like a couple of moves ago. Yes, g4, knight g6, knight g3. There you go. This is very much playable. Very much playable. Looks like white is a bit more happier. Again, if the white knight ends up on d6, I think black having some issues. Black's having some issues here. So the most ideal outpost for this guy is d6. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, Matt. But knight to d6 would be a heck of a knight. Knight to d6. Hitting the b7, right? What else am I missing something? Or should you go maybe f5? Of course you want to go f5. There is another fork here. So knight f5, knight e7 looks really good. I think white has more initiative, and practically I think she's more into attacking than black here. Whereas black has to take care of a couple of things defensively speaking. Black has to be careful about the f3 pawn, which is currently defended only by the knight. So the knight sort of can't move unless they do some check with the knight or something. I don't know, but the black knight has to defend f3. And as soon as she plays something like this, I mean, she's really more into attacking. Boy, that knight on f5 is a killer. Again, magnificent. Magnificent. She does call the shots here. She does call the shots here. This is amazing. So I guess now both of them will be getting guys like 40 minutes, and actually we do get to enjoy this ending now. And just phenomenal game by Ju and Jun. I mean, she is a force to be reckoned with. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Brilliant. Brilliant game by Ju and Jun. It's not finished yet. All right. Just gonna go refill that beverage and we'll be returning, guys. Fabulous stuff. Absolutely fabulous. I think any second now we're gonna see the 40 minutes being added to Gukesh and Ju and Jun because they went past the 40 moves. All right, guys. We'll be back in a sec. Alright, now coming back. So let's see if the guys played anything here since we last been here. So let's just double check. Okay, what's going on here? Ooh, I think I gotta refresh the page. What's going on? Did they move anything? Gukesh, Ju and Jun, what happened here? Nothing happened. After knight g3, They went for a coffee or something. Nothing happened. So let's go back to Nepomniachtchi the Storov here. Something weird. So c4 was the last stuff I remember. Rook b8. Attacking knight. Defending. Can I play king c5? I wonder. Can I play king c5? Huh. I think king c5 is quite good. King c5. Looking to attacking c6. And then they have to play something defensive. King c5, rook a6, right? Or king d7? But then I can play... Hold on a second. The idea is just not to just hit c6, is also to coming on b4. Double attacking the knight on a3. So I think it's more king c5 with the purpose of king b4. That's what I think it is. You just need to make sure you're not going to get into a check or something. And there is a bit of a problem, though. Okay, king b4. It could be check here, though. King c5, king b4, knight c2, check. No, that's... No. That's not going to work for black. So king c5 definitely going forwards. King c5. I suspect king c5 is the move. Unless there is another tactic. Or do you go king c3? Does that make any difference? King c5, king c3. Is there any difference in between the two? King c3, king b3, or king c5, king b4? Well, that's another question. King c3, king b3, or king c5, king b4? What's going on here? Or you just do something totally different. But I guess that need to be investigated. That really needs a little bit of attention here. King c5, king b4, king c3, king b3. Yeah, one of these two. Which one do you think, guys, would be most playable here? Let me know. If you get it, if you have a suggestion here, guys. And what's going on with Wenjun and Gukesh, actually? Knight c4 hitting the rook and hitting the a3. Rook to c3. Because if you had taken f3, you would have run into knight d2, forking the rook and forking the king. Therefore, you would have lost the game. So rook c3 had to be played, attacking the knight with tempo. And if the... Okay, looks like Wenjun is going to win this one. If knight's going to go... So where do you go with the black knight? So that's the question now. Because it seems to me that actually you cannot be stopped from playing knight f5. It could be some background checks, but do they actually really work? Because you're going to go with the king, and heck, you're going to capture the f3 with the king if you're being forced into. Black knight's being hit now. So where do you go? Gukesh has to move the king. Okay, good news is that everyone is having like extra time now. So 40 minutes for everybody. Well, for the two players. And I don't know why, but I feels like white is doing a bit better. Not just that the knight is under attack, but f3 is also attacked. And what do you play? Do you move the knight? And if you move the knight, where do you move it? Do you want to play a back rank check with the rook? But then I'm going to play here, I guess. And then again, you got to address the knight and the pawn being targeted simultaneously. What do you play? It's got to be something either back rank or you got to move the knight. You have to move the knight. And whether you move the knight, knight d2 or something? I'm not sure. She's doing very well. She's doing really well in this position here. This guy feels incredibly shaky here on f3. So it's going to have to... Probably it's going to be captured. Knight is incredibly promising. Knight's ideas or knight f5, knight e7 type of fork ideas and threats is just phenomenal. It's very good. This knight, this black knight is constantly under attack and f3 is being hit now. She's very strong. Okay, I really enjoy this one. Rook d1 is a check. So you gotta move the king, Matt. What? Rook d1, king f2, knight e5. Oh, I see. Okay. So let's just give attention to this. So check here. I am forced into f2. I don't have a choice. It's a forcing move. King f2 then. Knight e5. Okay. Defending the pawn. Okay, I get it. I get it. Then we just go with the plan, knight f5. Can we go with the plan? Am I missing something? Yeah, it's check again, right? Yeah, that might be the best way to be playing here for black. It might be. It might be. Indeed. Rook d1, f2, knight e5. Then can you play the rook c2? But you give up on attacking the f3. But maybe you need to make sure that you're not getting checked. But then rook d3 and attacks this guy now. Okay, he plays first in a different move order, Matt. So firstly, he goes with knight e5 first, ensuring the pawn's safety. And now he's gonna go with the check on the back rank. Not an easy endgame at all. On the other hand, if you try to prevent playing prophylactically, you're gonna run into this. I'm not sure that's beneficial. Okay, cool stuff. She found it. So if there is a check, you're gonna drop, right? But if I'm not sure you're gonna drop though. Wait a sec. Wait a sec. I'm not sure because she attacks. You gotta be careful. So back rank check here. Okay. Back rank check. You're gonna do f2. You're gonna do f2, right? Or you're gonna block with the rook? No, you're gonna block with the rook because if they go back on d3, you're gonna take the knight. So they have to move the knight. And if they move the knight, you get to play something else. So the question is if rook d1, you're going to block with the rook or you're going to move the king. If you move the king, you're going to be rook f2 check again. But then you might be able to attack the rook with the king. After all. You might be. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, king e1. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what I said. Exactly what I said. Yeah. And the king itself will be hunting the rook that hits them. So, and the knight is, don't forget, the knight is currently attacked by the rook. So she played it so nicely here. She played it so nicely. The defender of the f3 is being attacked again. So this is so good. And if she gets an opportunity, she'll be playing also the knight on g3 at some point. But um, she's doing incredibly well. Very well. She's doing so well. Let's go back quickly to Yanni Pomnishi up the Storov and let's see what this guy's do. Right, what were we last time? We were here, and I said something about moving king c3, king b2, or king c5, king b4. Okay, now Ian changes again the idea. He wants to go b7, I guess. King moves, but you could do some check. King to c3 now. King attacks. Knight to d2. Probably he wants to go f4 and then push the king back where they were. He's not rushing it. He got 1 hour, 2 minutes. He doesn't want to rush it. So he can play the f4 at any moment now. Nice. So he's going to push them back. He's going to push them back. And Abdusattorov has to be incredibly careful. If he moves, for instance, the rook anywhere along this line, you got to be careful of this kind of move that actually just simply traps the black knight completely. Well, you got to keep the rook. What I want to say is that you got to keep the rook on a8. So that's a bit good for white. It's limiting for black. Nice one. Really nice. I like the f4 move. But whose turn is Abdusattorov? So, okay. It's black's turn, though. It can't really do too many things here, I guess. And this one is something. You can't just ignore that move. He's going to just pick up more pawns from black. So you can't just ignore this. Probably he's going to have to do rook a7 or something. Rook a7, f4. Sorry, rook b. Black's turn, right? So rook a7 to prevent rook b7, and then some f4 ideas. That might be. There might be. Might be. Let's go back to Joe and John. I think these games are fascinating. So rook e3, and Gukesh hasn't moved anything yet. He hasn't moved nothing yet. It's fascinating. Probably the best games today. The best end game. Excellent games. Fabulous, excellent games. e3. Boy's got to think about this one. Yeah, so it's not going to work. Rook D, King F2, Rook D2, King E1. It's not going to turn out very positive for black if they do this kind of stuff. Rook B3. Yeah, I did say that. I did say Rook A7, and I did say Rook B3 as well. Yeah, I did mention both of these ideas. They make a lot of sense. So now the black rook has to stay exactly where they are. And there is another idea, guys. Now, if you do king b4, there is always knight to c2. That's not quite the move. That's not quite the move. But what rook b3 means, you kind of have to keep the black rook on the a file. You just lose the knight. The knight can't go anywhere. Have you noticed, guys? The black knight can't go anywhere. It just can't move. Black knight cannot move. So I think Abdusattorov is way more limited than white here. Way more limited. Yeah, so he got to do some king moves painfully. Now, white is actually enjoying a free knight. A free knight in terms of you can play whatever the heck you want with that knight. So, I don't know, can you look for something like knight or you're going to play f4 first? You're going to play f4 first? Or you're going to play something else? Or you're going to play knight f3, knight d4? I mean, there could be knight f3 could mean also knight to g5, and you just simply grab another pawn. So just not to be disregarded. Every single pawn matters absolutely. So something like knight f3, knight g5 is something. It's something. Of course, knight f3 and black can play h6. Yeah, that might be. But then again, you have a free knight. You can afford the luxury. You can afford the luxury with white to readjusting the white knight's position. Black is more limited because they got a knight that is completely paralyzed here. They can't go anywhere with the black knight. They won't move anywhere than black knight. Yeah. So white is doing better for sure. But there is another thing. Can we play king b2? And then they're gonna play knight here? That's a disaster. We're winning, right? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Maybe I'm king b2. What is black supposed to do with the knight? Matt, maybe I haven't drank enough coffee or something. After king b2, what do you do? Hmm? Sorry, what the heck's going on here? Okay, that knight f1, I wouldn't have gotten that move in a billion years to play it. It absolutely doesn't make any freaking sense. Okay, well, what's the problem with king b2? So if you're there, Matt, king b2, and what is black supposed to play? Oh, Jesus. Hi there, Raj. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, man. Yeah, feel free to type in your candidate moves here. I was just genuinely inquiring about a king b2. What is the way out for the black knight here? Being like double hit. Okay, that's very very weird. I think king b2. Where do you go with the knight? Because I attack it twice. Hmm. And what did Ian play? He played knight f1. Those guys are really shocking. King d6, knight d2, knight e6 back. Sorry, it's Ian's turn. Apologies. Okay, it's Ian's turn. Okay. Well, you trapped the knight. I mean, it's already trapped, aren't they? After King B2, Raj, I'm talking about. After King B2, the Black Knight is kind of trapped, isn't it? How is he not trapped? Hmm. Okay, let's go back to Wenjun. That was another fascinating ending there. Until we clarify the heck's going on with Nepo and Anish Giri here. So Gukesh didn't move nothing after Rook E3. He didn't commit to do nothing. Probably he's not very satisfied with the idea of the back rook checks from the black rook, so he didn't do nothing in regards to this. Hmm. Is he okay? So what is he going to play? Hmm. Well, we at least try to develop this habit of anticipating their thought processes. I think it's very instructive. I think it's very instructive, and I love this kind of exercise. I think probably is one of the best tools for increasing the chess understanding. Well, I'm not sure they see 100 moves ahead, but they see just a very healthy sequence here. E6. You tell me what is black playing after king b2? King b2. I'm gonna put the stockfish. I normally try to stay away from the engine whilst I'm doing the live games with my friends because I wanna genuinely think in a very raw fashion. And I'm gonna put the engine now for this particular last move that happened. So before h4, so he played king e6, and now I'm gonna check with the engine. I wanted to make sure if I actually can spot the right stuff myself and my friends rather than just checking with the engine all the time. But I think every now and then we definitely can get the superior endorsement of the engine. So let's just go with the almighty stockfish here. And maybe we get an answer to king b2. What's wrong with this? Probably there might be a tactic or something. h4, which Ian did play though. Rook b8, king b2, not even... It might be a blunder or something, king b2. King b2 might be a blunder. King b2. King b2. How bad of a blunder that is? How bad of a blunder, king b2? Because probably they're going to do something like that. So you take my guy, I'm going to take your guy. So he wasn't fully satisfied. Not a blunder, but actually he goes in compensation for chasing the other white knight on d2. Covering up again. So whereas king b2 does trap the black knight, Abdusatorov would have had the counterattack for the chasing of the white knight on d2. So actually Ian wasn't very happy about this, so he went with h4. Go figure, he went with h4. The black king tries to get access, I guess, to this. He tries to attack with the king itself. And probably stopping the knight to go to f3. I'm not sure if that works though. Or probably trying to take the knight e4 so that it's no longer trapped here. I see. So guys, to my understanding, knight to king to f5 wants to say you're not going to play knight e4 in order to trap my knight. So probably he thinks about this kind of ideas, amongst others. It could be some multi-purpose intention with king f5. Amongst them stopping e4 and maybe gaining access to g4. These kind of things. Yeah, Nepo is totally winning in that game. Let's go very briefly. Yeah. Yeah, that's indeed. Yeah, if king goes on... Well, king f3 can't be played as long as the white knight is here. But I get your point. Yes, f3 might not work because we have a discovered and practically winning the black knight. But anyway, king f3 is not going to work with the white knight on d2. So let's go to Wenjun very quickly there because that was... Oh, he didn't move nothing. He didn't move nothing. Very critical for Gukesh here. She's doing incredibly well. She's doing very well. So on the lead chess, I think something like 2100 something for both rapid and blitz. And similarly on chess.com. Just goes up and down all the time, especially the blitz, 2000, 2100, up and down all the time. Rapid 2200, I think. Yeah, these are just very much fluctuating, those ratings, especially if you go into the speed chess. They're always fluctuating. It's more like good to try to anticipate the Super GM's games moves. I think that's probably one of the best tools in the chess preparation. Yeah. Well, you know, you think you're stronger, then there is always someone stronger than you. Hmm. Yeah. So that's very interesting because I think Gukesh had spent like 20 minutes after Wenjun played Rook E3, Rook C3, Rook E3. Gukesh is just still thinking for the last like almost 20 minutes, if not longer. He didn't move. He didn't move. He doesn't like Rook D1, King F2, Rook D2, King E1. He just doesn't like it. And this guy is sort of hanging. So you got to be very careful when you're moving the rook up and down. You got to keep an eye on the knight. So that's something. She's just strong. She drew against Yan Nepomniachtchi like 2-3 days ago. I mean, she lost to Anish Giri. She drew with Yan Nepomniachtchi. That's amazing. Fabulous. Oh, Gukesh comes with A5 here, guys. After 20 minutes of thinking, he actually decides to play A5. Kind of like wanted to say undermining the white pawn structure. So now I guess Wenjun has the chance to take a little bit of initiative. I don't know if that is knight f5, if that is knight e4, or something else. So I don't know. Or you're supposed to be acting on. I mean, I would probably look for some knight move now just in order to take initiative. Well, that pawn is defended, isn't it? So probably you could just investigate now some knight f5, knight e4 ideas. I'm not sure. Knight e4, knight f5. Knight f5 obviously comes with the fork, which is very likely Gukesh is going to see that. But where do you move the rook, knowing that the knight on e5 is under attack? So I think that's quite strong. I guess a move like knight f5 is terribly strong. Raj and Matt and the other guys, we got a handful of. Hey, there you go, man. Knight f5. I've been saying that for ages. Knight f5. This is a very strong move. The last move Gukesh spent 20 minutes thinking about playing. 20 minutes and he came with a5 is not a forcing move. It doesn't present a counterattack game. There is the e7 fork that is incredibly critical. I'm not sure if a5 is not actually a blunder. And you tell me what on earth are you going to play now? Because if you move the rook away, you can only go on the back rank, right? Okay, king plays defending the knight, so the rook is free to go. And you can't go e7, okay. She still had the initiative. Okay, knight stays very well where they are. So the white knight on f5 stays very... Can you go d6? Just asking, can you play d6? Or do you do something else? I mean, if not d6, what exactly are you going to do? d6 and perhaps e4 check? And then some c3? It's still convoluted, but... Okay, tactics, tactics, tactics. I would play knight d6 here. obviously I will do knight, and I said about knight d6. I was talking to Matt. I don't know if Matt is on a stream, but I was saying since knight was on h5, I did say to my friends online, knight g3, knight f5, and knight d6. So knight being on d6, I said it like ages ago. That knight on d6. Knight was on h5 like at some point, and I really, there you go, knight d6. She did play it. I would have played knight e6 as well. And probably many other people that are watching the games now, probably they would concur about this. Yes, knight e6, that's strong. Knight e6 is strong. It eyes the b7. This is something. This is good. This is really good. I like it so much. This is really good. So now I suspect the black pawn on b7 has to go on b6, right? He took on b4, so you gotta take... Wait, whoa. Whoa. Do you take on b7 or do you take on b4? This is very important. This is very important. If you take on b7 is a thing. If you take on b4 is another thing. Can't you just take on b7? Because that black pawn on b4 freaking can't... Even if they take, you're going to capture. Even if they move down, you're going to take anyway. Can't you just take on b7? It's to be actually properly scrutinized here. Wenjun is having like 46 minutes now. I think she shouldn't rush it, especially now. I think she should just really think it through. She should just take the time and think about this. She shouldn't move quickly now. You tempted to say a3 takes b4. I think it's good. I think it's good. I wouldn't check the black king now necessarily. I wouldn't check the black king now, Raj. I'm interested in taking the pawn on b7, frankly. Because you know why? I'm interested to take this guy first because I want to protect my pawn, sort of. And I assume the black pawn I can take it later, or if they push it down, I can take it with the rook. It's complicated. But yeah, so I think you got two choices here, knight b7 or a b4. Which one is it? a3 b4, knight b7, or you do knight e4. But if you do knight e4, why would you spare the b7 pawn? I don't know. Yet. I don't know yet. Still probably taking here, it's not a bad idea. After all, you're defending c5 naturally with a pawn. So practically, if I assess this one correctly, a3, b4 provides natural defense for the c5 pawn. And whilst you're still maintaining a threat on the b7 with the knight, and okay, I guess. Well, okay to whatever can be okay here, but I haven't investigated. Whoa, I haven't investigated at all something like 98. I didn't even look at that. And I guess now because she's got like 43 minutes, she actually should look at all those tacticalities hidden here in the position. 98 is a check. Now, if black doesn't pay attention, they might be getting forked, so to speak. Of course, less likely Gukesh not to seeing that, but just saying, if, you know, it's important. It's really important to look at something like 98. There's many things happening on the board right now. A takes b4, knight takes b7, knight e8, knight e4. There's many things happening. Very many things happening here. You actually got 4 candidate moves. Which one is it? 4 candidate moves, if not more. Actually, that feels a bit like a puzzle you're doing on Lichess or chess.com. It feels like a puzzle. Really. Feels like a puzzle. I'm not sure. At least 4 candidate moves you got here. And apparently Nepo had beaten Nordibek previously. Yeah, we got to look at that one. Yeah, it might be the case. Yeah, knight b7. It might be rook d3. It might be though, and then you're dropping that guy. So probably you gotta take on b4. You gotta play some into. Oops, not that one. Sorry. Probably you gotta take here or do some stuff. Probably the safest one is just take on b4. Probably. But anyway, she got loads of time. Let me refresh the page and looking again. So that's the last game that happens in this round number 8. It's round number 8. Whoa. She did take on b4, guys. She did take. Check. Well, king f2, right? Well, king f2 or rook e1. One of these two. Because you can play king f2 and you can play rook e1. It is Gukesh's game. Yeah, I've just refreshed the page. Right, so now I think 2 candidate moves and you kind of like being forced. You either move king f2 or you play rook e1. There's nothing else for you to do. Feels like she still has the initiative. She's still doing very well. She's still calling the shots here. Can you do, let me think, can you do something like rook e1? But then they're not going to trade, right? They're not going to trade. They're going to move away. Heck, if they move away, you start asking again, where did they go? D2, did they go D3, did they go D4, did they go D5? And everyone is coming consequent. Now, they can't move away because you're going to take on B7 and you're going to win. So by the looks of it, you might be able to generate a rook trade. Is that in your advantage? I think it is. Rook e1, rook takes, king takes. By me, I think that might be the correct move. Is rook e1, guys, the move you would personally play here? I think rook e1 wins the necessary tempo that forces black to either trade rooks, which I think works very well for white. And because if the rook moves, you're just gonna take the pawn on b7 with the knight. So tell me if you think I'm wrong, guys, or you got a better one. But I think rook e1. Yeah, well, maybe it's a draw from the engine's point of view. Are you an engine? I'm not. So it's a draw for Stockfish 16. If you are Stockfish 16, I think yes, okay. But if you're not Stockfish 16, I'm not sure how much of a draw. That's still debatable, right? Because, I mean, folks at home can put the Stockfish 16 and everything's fine, but when you play over the board, the situation is completely different. You don't have the engine's assistance. It's a different experience. King f2. She opted for king f2. Rook d2. Check again. Ooh, she's going to play king e1. She's going to play king e1. You want to bet? It's king e1 coming. But then the question is, can he push f2? Because if you take, you're going to take a queen. This is more complicated than it looks. It's way more complicated than it looks, guys. It's not, it's just so not over. Again, so let me just highlight what I managed to actually understand with my own mind. I'm not using any engine. It's King E1, and if I'm correct, you can just push F2 with check. You can't really take the rook because there is a queen coming here. This is something you have to actually calculate. If you go here, you're gonna have a massive problem in terms of just a checkmate right on the spot. So G3 is not playable. So therefore, you got to move the king on the back rank again. This is a very complicated ending. It feels like white is calling the shots here, but there's still a problem here. This guy is very advanced. The knight is sitting very well for the time being, defended by the king. And the black rook that is just harassing the white king all the time. It's not easy. King E1, and if he's check, you could just go king F1. Obviously, you can't take the rook because they're going to just get a queen. So this is just not very easy. You go, well, you could go king f1, but then probably I think Gukesh is very happy for a draw here. Can we say that? I mean, if the white knight manages to take on b7, black is having a problem here with those two passes. I think Gukesh might want a draw, but now what is Wenjun's best plan here? You could play this straight away, but then they're going to check you, and then you're going to go back, and probably Gukesh is going to just keep repeating. So if you don't want to repeat, if you don't want to repeat stuff, you got to go king e1, pawn f2, king f1. Okay, king f1. I'm attacking your pawn. If you check me again, I'm going to take your pawn, and I think just simply I'm winning. So I don't want to. I don't want to put a stockfish here. I just want to try to figure out ourselves. I mean, after the game happens, people can just put the stockfish and look at the best possible lines that could have been played and stuff. I think it's good. But probably during the game is best to just keep it like this. The game score, I don't Gukesh I think is in the lead. If he wins now, that will be his fourth or fifth victory or something. I need to check the score. I wanted yesterday to stream, but I was busy at a club, so I couldn't do it. I didn't follow the games live. I'm trying now Sunday. Tomorrow evening, yeah, tomorrow evening I'll be able to do this again after I'm coming back from the club. Okay. So I think that's fairly okay. King, yes, this and this. I think it's playable, right? Yeah, you can. Yeah, tomorrow I'll be streaming again around uh, 6 p.m. UK time when I'm coming back from the club. I'll be doing the stream for tomorrow's respective rounds. So you're more than welcome to be joining if you want to. And also at your own convenience, guys, you can have a look at the YouTube channel. I've uploaded a couple of films lately, a couple of videos, so they might be useful for our intermediates friends. Yeah. Let me see if I can copy paste the link. But I don't want to switch the tabs or anything. Yeah, it's the same Soren chess coach for the YouTube channel anyway. That's pretty much famous, I'd say, in the UK now because they extended very much the game of chess in probably almost all of the primary schools. So it's being quite a lot publicized, and there are very many clubs and stuff now. That's from the Own Pro. That's just the free overlay. You're gonna find it on the Own Pro website and app. So that's for free. You don't have to pay for this overlay. And it's set up for the Twitch stream, by the way. So yeah, I gotta do another scene on OBS and stuff like that. Just do the pro own pro things. Let me just try to own pro. Yeah. Just type this in and you can't go wrong. Okay, you just type this in into your machine and you're gonna get it straight away. There is only one company that you can't go wrong. That's the stuff you gotta look for. So I gather you're doing the stream yourself or something, right? Okay. I might have time to go do some tea or something because she definitely thinks about this one. Oh, wait a second, because she didn't move that, so I need to go get a tea. Because I think Wenjun is gonna spend some time. Hey, what's going on here? Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, she hasn't moved yet. She hasn't moved yet. She hasn't moved yet. She hasn't moved yet. So we have established that Rook King G3 is off the book because it's a checkmate. You either go E1, F1, G1. Probably E1 is the most like attacking the black rook, so probably. Hey, there you go. She played it. She played it. Probably if that was a blitz or a bullet game, I would have played it ages ago. But probably she wanted to make sure that she covered as many ideas as possible. So she did commit to do King E1 finally, which I did say I would play. And now, guys, do you want to bet about the F2 happening now? Well, I'm not sure Gukesh is going to play it, but if it's F2, you got to go King F1. You can't take the rook. You cannot touch the black rook because of the queen promotion. And frankly, that's how you lose the game here. Therefore, Gukesh now, he either pushes. On the other hand, if Gukesh pushes the pawn, you know something? If he... Wait a bit. He didn't do that, did he? Did he? Did he play rook b2? Wait a minute. Yes, he did. Apologies. He did play rook b2. He's targeting this guy. Okay. Now, you either take with b7, or you push the guy on b5. Or what else? Do you do checks? I don't know. Yeah, that's another thing. That's another thing. Okay. Okay. What is white supposed to be doing here? So rook b2 looks at this guy. Whoa! You take the knight. Oh my god, did he blunder? You take the knight. If the king takes, you're gonna play a fork. That's it. Game over. Jesus Christ. Is it rook takes? He forgotten. Oh my days. Is it rook takes e5, or just I need definitely a cup of tea? Or am I just drinking water? What the heck's going on? Can I just take the knight for Christ's sake? Looks like a free piece. I'm winning the game. Jesus Christ. What is that? Okay, I just need some I need some guys to actually tell me their opinions. I don't want to put the engine. I don't want to put the engine. Is it rook takes e5? If I take rook takes c5. No, no, guys, it's not. No, 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 no. It's rook b1. No, no, it's not. It's not, Raj. We don't need the engine. It's not. Rook e5, it's hopeful chess. Rook e5, we hoping black takes. Black doesn't need to take. They play rook b1 first. Check. And you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do. And then they're gonna take your rook, and you're not gonna take back nothing. You actually you may very well lose the game. No, it's not rook takes because king is not taking you. No. No. You don't need the stockfish for this. Yeah, if rook takes e5 and if the king takes, you do have a fork. But you don't expect Gukesh to do that, right? You don't expect them to just do that. No, 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 it's okay. I mean, look, it's important to actually see all these lines. So that's the reason I think it's more useful for ourselves. It's way more useful to not put the engine when you're watching a live game. It's not going to help you because the effort on your part is zero. So let's just put it this way. If you watch a live game in between two super grandmasters and you keep the freaking engine stockfish on the screen, the effort you're doing is zero because the engine is going to serve you the top lines every single time. Tell me where's your effort improvement, how exactly you're going to push yourself. You're not going to do nothing because the engine tells you everything. So I don't think you should do that. I think you should use the engine after the game had happened. Go line by line, check with the engine stuff that they missed, and that's how you actually learn. But if during the live games you ask the engine, how you going to learn? What do you do? You're not going to do any piece of effort, nothing. So yeah, it doesn't work with the engine. I mean, for you as a human, I don't think it works. You're not going to be improving during the live game. In practice, I think all the commentators during the live stream, especially the big streamers and stuff, they shouldn't put the engine. Especially if they got an expertise and if they are title players, they shouldn't use the freaking engine. If you are like a GM, IM, FM, and you're like a massive streamer, huge platform, no engine. I mean, just do it human raw experience. And then at the end of it, of course, you just go perusing through the game, just see the moves and stuff. But other than that, I'm not a great fan of engine during the live games. No. And not for commentators. I don't think so. Okay, does she want to do like a draw here or something? Like keep repeating the checks and things? Yeah, I think she's happy with the draw in this position. This is very, very complicated because the b4 is constantly under threat. So I think she kind of is happy with the draw here. And this guy is dangerous. Yeah. She wants to do a perpetual check here. I think they just drew. Yeah, they just drew. Okay, now we can summon the engine. Okay, now we can put the engine on. Right. At the end of it. Okay, now we can use it. Yeah, okay. For the stockfish, it's of course a draw. If you do this in a blitz or bullet, that's not going to be any draw. But she played amazingly, guys. She just played amazingly. Absolutely. And the only stuff for Gukesh is just to... Yeah, well, you checked with the stockfish, didn't you? Yeah, you checked with the stockfish, so yeah. That's why you told me, right? Notice how the black king can't move away from the knight. So that's why Gukesh had to continuously keep the black king close to the black knight. Because if you move away, you're going to drop this guy. And frankly, you're going to lose the game. So he has to keep the black king close, close, close to the black knight all the time. You can't move away because you're losing the game. And Wenjun very wisely came up with this drawing technique. She's just awesome. She's just awesome. That's all right, man. So then again, It's okay. I think the engine should be used at the end of the game and not during the live game, because you gotta improve and you gotta think and make an effort. You know, just imagine that was your real game over the board. Imagine you played over the board or you played online or something like that. You cannot use the engine. You gotta make an effort and you gotta produce your best moves. And you can't do that if you just continuously ask the engine what to play. Or, you know. So, yeah, engine at the end. After the game had happened, then put the engine and find out what other stuff could have been played here. Right, so check here, moves here, check, king. Again, well, this F2 move, obviously you can't take, but I think loses for black. So after F2 here, exactly, you're not going to, exactly right, you're not going to take on D2 because they're promoting with check, but instead you play king F1, and white is doing very well. So Gukesh understood this. Obviously, you're going to dropping stuff here now because you got this kind of sequences, and you practically just lost the game. But that was a very interesting idea. So now he went for this one, and boy, she found it. Yeah, she found it. It's just so nice, so nice. Nah, man, if you get to play them, you already would be a title player with massive expertise, so you wouldn't be really wetting your pants because you're playing these guys. Anyway, I'd love to play them anytime because it'll be an amazing learning opportunity. So playing stronger players, it's actually amazing. It's fabulous. It's absolutely amazing playing stronger players than yourselves. All right, fellas, I think I'm gonna call it a day for the time being. Maybe I'm gonna make a short video on Nepo Abdusatorov, perhaps, or Firouzja Dingley Ren. And by the way, guys, check the my YouTube channel, fellas. Raj, you can go to Soren Chess Coach, have a look at the last videos I've uploaded. And see you guys tomorrow with another round. And maybe we can meet up again. Okie dokie, guys. So enjoy the remainder of the day. Thanks very much for your presence. And I'll see you guys very, very, very soon. That would be tomorrow in just a matter of hours. I'm going to pay attention to your idea to make a video on Pragnananda, Ramesh Babu Pragnananda. I'll keep this in mind. Thanks, Raj. See you soon, guys. Take care.